Good morning, everyone. This is Julie McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I would like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with our very own Mr. Ryan McKenzie, Certified Engineer, here with us at Microcom Technologies. He'll be hosting and presenting, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to submit them in the question box, and Ryan will answer them at the end of today's presentation. Thank you again, everyone, and Ryan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Julie. I appreciate that. Sorry for the little interruption. I don't know if you can hear that. That's probably an F-35 passing over my house right now, so a little bit of background noise. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to talk today. My name is Ryan McKenzie, and today we'll be talking about the Microcom Academy, presented by myself and Microcom Technologies. First, a little bit about myself, the presenter. My name is Ryan McKenzie. I've been with Microcom Technologies for about 2 years now. I've been in the WISP industry for about 15 years now, started with a company called Engenius Technologies. Engenius made RF amplifiers for consumer as well as commercial ventures, and I spent much of my time in the introduction to the WISP industry climbing 100-foot towers, installing RF amplifiers at the top to increase the output power of wireless bridges. I'm currently a certified trainer for MikroTik, Ubiquiti, as well as CWNP, which we'll talk a little bit more about later in the presentation, and listed are some of the certifications that I currently hold. Most of you probably know Microcom. For those of you that don't, let me give you a short introduction. Microcom has been in business for over 15 years as a hardware stocking distributor. Microcom is located just outside of Los Angeles, California, where we have a sales and business office, as well as a distribution facility where we import and then distribute all across the world. Our main customer base is OEM, ODM, and resellers, so we are mainly business to business. And we have multiple high-tech product lines that we stock and sell out of our distribution warehouse, including many of the most popular lines like Ubiquiti Networks, MikroTik, Engenius, GrandStream. If you don't know GrandStream, we'll talk a little bit about them today. A beautiful IP, PBX, and VoIP platform. Nutanix are fantastic switches, perfectly designed for the WISP market, and RF Elements. If you're in the WISP environment, you probably know RF Elements. They do a fantastic number of antenna and radio accessories. Today we want to talk about the Microcom Academy. In 2014, in a response to customer requests, Microcom started the Microcom Academy. The Microcom Academy is IT and network training for adult learners, specifically designed as boot camp type learning. Short 2-3 day courses designed to give you a overview of technology and get you certified so that you can get back into the working world and gain the knowledge that you need in order to manage the networks that you own. We have on-staff engineers offering a number of certification classes for many of the most popular IT certifications for today, including, again, Ubiquiti, MikroTik, Engenius, CWNP, and GrandStream, and we're adding all the time. We're adding to our course curriculum nearly monthly. Now, there are many people that offer IT and network certification classes, so the question is, why choose us? What's different about Microcom Academy versus anyone else out there offering IT and networking certification classes? Well, a couple of things. We have a wide variety of experienced engineers on hand as full-time employees that are cross-trained in multiple disciplines. Most of our, in fact, all of our certified engineers are trained in multiple classes that we offer. So you have a broad depth of experience to pull from as you are learning from our engineers. In addition to that, we bring the training to you. That means lower travel costs and less time away from the office. Many of our competitors offer 2 classes, 3 classes, 4 classes per year, per quarter, and usually they're in destination cities like Las Vegas, Los Angeles, perhaps Chicago, and you have to take time, leave your office, leave your business, and travel to go to that certification class. We offer multiple classes during the week throughout the entire U.S. In fact, that's just a sampling. That's a month's view of our classes that we offer all over the country, as well as Canada as well, that we don't have pictured there. If you don't see your city or the class that you want to take on the schedule, guess what? Give us a call. We offer private classes. We also have additional classes available that might not be listed on the schedule. And the best way to know for sure is to contact your sales rep. Please call us. We can accommodate nearly every situation. We'd love to bring the IT and network certification class to you. Now I want to take a few minutes and go over the current certification classes that we offer, give you an overview of the different certification courses to give somebody an idea as to what might fit in and what classes they might want to pursue. Let's start with the Ubiquiti courses. Ubiquiti Networks is probably the most popular WISP brand in the market right now, so there's a lot of demand for these courses. Ubiquiti offers currently the 5 courses that you see here, the UBWS, UBWA, UEWA for enterprise wireless, and then the routing and switching, a specialist level and an admin level. Ubiquiti is expanding their course curriculum all the time. They currently offer specialist level, which is the entry level, admin level, mid-level training courses, and then the expert level. Many of the expert level courses and some of the additional specialist and admin level courses are not done yet by Ubiquiti. They've been announced, but they have not been released yet. We will be adding them to our course curriculum as they become available. What we currently offer is, let's start with the UBWS, the wireless specialist. This is a fantastic beginning point for somebody that doesn't know a lot about wireless, wants to get introduced to wireless, and more specifically into Ubiquiti and what they do better than anyone else. The UBWS is a one-day instructor-led course. It includes, as part of the course, a NanoBeam 802.11ac AP/client. Each student gets one to take home. In the class, we cover what a WISP is, a wireless ISP, kind of a new terminology for many customers that are just getting into it, the past, the present, and where the WISP environment is going to go in the future. Some service provider basics, understanding what it is to be a service provider. How to build a point-to-point link. We do a lot of in-class simulation on point-to-point links, including how to specify radios, antennas, as well as do link planning using Ubiquiti's online tool AirLink to predict your link and if it's going to work. We also spend a lot of time talking about point-to-multipoint links, including Ubiquiti's own AirMax TDMA protocol, and some best practices for deploying a point-to-multipoint network. The UBWA is the admin level for the UBWS. It is a 2-day course. We add an extra day. It includes the same NanoBeam. We cover basically everything that we cover in the UBWS, but we add a lot of additional theory on top of that to give you the full background. So we have a lot of RF theory that we talk about, frequency versus propagation, what frequencies to use when based on what you're trying to accomplish, how to deal with line of sight and Fresnel zones, understanding what a Fresnel zone is and taking the time to understand if you have interference from Fresnel zone issues. Antenna theory, understanding how to pick the best antenna, including how to read polar plots, MIMO, multiple in, multiple out, what polarization is, as well as XPD, cross-polarization discrimination, and why that's important to understand when you're specifying and buying an antenna for your WISP. We also spend a lot of time talking about hidden node as well as traffic shaping. Hidden node is a problem that many WISPs face, and Ubiquiti's AirMax technology helps to combat that issue, as well as traffic shaping, helping you to set up quality of service using Ubiquiti equipment. The UEWA is the Enterprise Wireless Admin. Again, it is also a 2-day instructor-led course. Where the UBWS and the UBWA talk about outdoor wireless, the UEWA takes the focus to indoor wireless, utilizing the Unify platform that Ubiquiti introduced a few years ago. Each student receives a Unify Pro. That's a dual-band 2.4 and 5 gig AP. Version 2 of this class is coming very, very soon. It's been announced, we've been trained. We're just waiting for Ubiquiti to give us the go-ahead. In the version 2, you'll have a Unify AC AP. Currently, we're offering the dual-band standard Unify Pro. The topics that we cover in the UEWA are how to deploy the Unify controller, WLAN planning, including signal versus noise, talking about airtime, capacity, density, how to build for a dense network. Deployment, how do you deploy and do a correct site survey? How do you benchmark? How do you test your network to make sure that it's as efficient as it could be? Cloud hosting, how do you put the Unify controller in the cloud so you don't have to have a controller on site for every network that you manage, as well as layer 3 adoption, Again, remote cloud hosting and how you adopt a remote access point into that controller, as well as guest portal customization for your Wi-Fi hotspots, plus much, much more that we don't have time to list and talk about here. The UBRSS is a routing and switching specialist class, and in my opinion is one of the best introduction classes that there is to routing and switching. It's a 3-day class, and each student gets an edge router, an edge router Lite, as well as a 5-port tough switch for each student. And as I mentioned, one of the best courses that I've run into for an introduction to routing and switching. We take a full day, put away the books, put away the computers, and we learn binary. We learn what an IPv4 address is, how binary works, how IPv4 is related to binary. We talk a lot about subnetting, variable length, subnet masking, the OSI model, what that means, why we care about the 7-layer model, encapsulation. We talk about routing tables so that you can read a routing table. Many of the things that we learn here you can apply to other routing platforms as well, MikroTik, Cisco, Juniper, etc. We talk a lot about static versus dynamic routing, the benefits to each and the drawbacks to each as well as we go into Ubiquiti way of handling DHCP, DNS, network address translation, firewalls, and VPN, and some of the specifics that you have to know in order to configure the EdgeMax platform that Ubiquiti has introduced. Coming very soon is the UBRSA, which is the Routing and Switching Admin. This is the next level above the specialist. We are trained, we are ready to go. We're just waiting for the go-ahead from Ubiquiti. Again, it will be a 2-day instructor-led course. You'll get a lot of hands-on labs with the Edge Router X as well as the Edge Switch. And we'll talk about a little bit more advanced topics in routing and switching. For example, virtual LANs, multi-area OSPF, BGP and how to implement it and where to implement it, as well as QoS, quality of service, and how to handle traffic shaping. Let's talk briefly about MikroTik now. MikroTik is one of the most popular tracks that we offer. The pictured on the slide is the training track that MikroTik offers for their training. We start with the admin level at MTCNA, the network admin. The engineer level includes routing engineer as well as wireless engineer. And then you have the advanced engineering level certificates, which are traffic control engineer, user manager engineer, and inter-network engineer. Currently, we offer the MTCNA and the MTCWE. We will be adding the additional certification courses as time goes by. But by far the most popular are the first 3, the MTCNA, the MTCRE, and the MTCWE, which is why we focus on those. The MTCNA is by far the most popular. It's a 3-day instructor-led course. Each student receives an 11-port wireless router, the RB2011 for MikroTik. As you sit in class for those 3 days, you'll learn about Router OS, what the operating system does, router board, how that differs from Router OS, how to manage the operating system, including upgrades, net install, etc. Layer 2 bridging versus Layer 3 routing, basic wireless configuration from the MikroTik, firewall, how to build a firewall from scratch and how to understand what traffic is going through your router, quality of service and traffic shaping, and how MikroTik maybe does that a little bit different from other manufacturers, as well as tunnels, PPPoE, and VPN. The MTCNA is a fantastic introduction course to the MikroTik operating system. It's a little bit different than other operating systems out there. But in this class, you have a lot of the basic fundamentals similar to the UBRSS that you would learn from the Ubiquiti class that you would be able to apply to a Cisco, to a Juniper, to other routing platforms that you might have. And you also get to see the immense power that the MikroTik operating system has, one of the most powerful routing platforms that are on the market today. In the MTCWE, you'll become a certified wireless engineer after a 2-day instructor-led course. Each course includes an RB951, which is a 5-port wireless router. In the MTCWE class, we talk more specifically about the wireless and how you configure that in the MikroTik operating system, including advanced wireless configs, how to use the built-in spectrum analyzer and the wireless tools that not many people know that the MikroTik has buried inside the operating system, how to set up multiple SSID and how to use multiple SSID effectively. Advanced channel management, including your DFS channels or your Uni 2 channels that are so hard to take advantage of. WDS, HWNP, which is Hybrid Wireless Mesh Protocol. These are both mesh protocols, how to set up a mesh network utilizing the MikroTik platform. Ngstream and NV2, which is Ngstream version 2 TDMA protocol. This is similar to the Ubiquiti AirMax protocol, and how to configure the Ngstream and NV2 and where to use them, where not to use them. And then finally, the Ngstream dual full duplex wireless. For years, MikroTik has offered a full duplex wireless option, but not many people know how to configure it, and we go over how to do that and how to make it work for you so you can have double the speed that you normally would over a standard half duplex wireless link. I'd like to take a second now and introduce CWNP. This is a relatively new certification track that we brought on approximately a year ago. The CWNP is a vendor-neutral professional certification track designed for someone that wants to learn more about wireless but doesn't necessarily want to limit themselves to just a vendor-specific type training. We start with the entry-level course at the bottom of the pyramid there at CWTS and the CWNA. We teach both the entry level and the administrator level, and we're adding the professional level and the expert level over time. The CWTS is a fantastic course for IT sales and support professionals. Maybe somebody that is a network and IT sales representative doesn't need to know all of the gory details about wireless, but needs to know enough so that they can sell the product that they are tasked to sell. It's a 2-day instructor-led course. Again, because it's vendor neutral, we talk about a lot of different vendors. We talk a lot about Cisco, Aerohive, Ruckus, Ubiquiti, MikroTik, and how each how the technologies apply to each platform across the board. We talk about your basic technologies, including 802.11a, NAC, the good and the bad for both. We talk a lot about different client equipment, including a PCI card, mini PCI, SD card, and others. We talk about basic RF theory, the watt, milliwatt, dB, dBm, dBi, how we use those in wireless so that you can speak intelligently with your customers. We take some time and go over signal-to-noise ratio, or SNR, as well as RSSI. The difference between all of them, why we care, and again, how to speak intelligently with your customers. And then we take a lot of time and talk about basic installation considerations, free space path loss, co-location interference, some things to avoid in the field so that you make sure that you get the most efficient network possible. The next level, and probably the most popular, in fact, by far the most popular in the CWNP track, is the CWNA. This is the Certified Network Wireless Admin. This is a 3-day instructor-led course, and it is packed full of goodies. Again, being a vendor neutral, we talk a lot about all the different types of manufacturers that are out there, but we get a lot more deep. We talk about the 802.11 standards, the different standard boards that you need to understand about, ERP, OFDM, HT, VHT. Guess what? These are all 802.11 protocols. But you understand after this class that the HT, for example, is 802.11n. The VHT, very high throughput, is 802.11 AC. And you understand why those terms are used. We talk a lot about the physical and the MAC layer technologies for the 802.11 spec, including AMSDU, AMPDU, as well as interframe spacing and how we aggregate frames together to get more data throughput to the other side of the wireless link. We spend a lot of time talking about different wireless topologies, including standalone APs versus controller-based APs, the pros and cons of each, as well as the split architecture. And then lastly, we give you an introduction to security. We talk about WPA Personal versus WPA2 Enterprise. We talk a lot about the different cipher suites, including TKIP and CCNP as well. We've just added the CWSP, which is the Certified Wireless Security Professional course. Again, a 2-day course that builds upon the CWNA information. We take the introduction from the CWNA and we go into a lot more detail on intrusion and attack techniques, how to prevent somebody from intruding and attacking your enterprise network. We do a lot of 802.11 protocol analysis, including Wireshark and other tools to see exactly what's going on inside of your network. We spend some time talking about wireless intrusion prevention, some of the different WIPS devices that are on the market, again, pros and cons of each one, and how to implement them in your network. And then we spend a lot of time talking about enterprise security, including radius authentication, as well as how to build a robust secure network, or RSN. And then lastly, we spend a lot of time talking about implementing a corporate security policy. This is a fantastic course that's designed for somebody that is in a corporate-based network and IT organization and needs to understand how to secure their wireless network to allow access to the people that you want, but to keep out the people that you don't. The last couple courses we want to talk about briefly are the Engenius Certification track. Engenius offers 2 classes. Engenius is a longtime vendor of ours. We have a great relationship with them, and they offer an operator course as well as a system engineers course. The operator course is a 1-day instructor-led course designed for Tier 1 and Tier 2 support specialists, really designed to give you a good overview of what the Engenius product does and give you kind of the quick rundown of the operating system and how they work. Each class includes, or each student will get an EAP 600, fantastic access point. If you want to delve deeper, you get into the system engineer level. The system engineer level is a full 2-day instructor-led course, really designed for value-added resellers, integrators, and managed service providers, designed to give you more theory, more advanced installation techniques, and again, pitfalls to avoid as you're doing installations. We talk a lot about Wi-Fi best practices, and again, we include the EAP 600 in that course. Lastly, we're excited to have GrandStream on board as one of our newest certification courses. GrandStream is a fantastic supplier of IP VoIP solutions, and GrandStream offers a certified IP PBX installer certification. It's a 1-day instructor-led course. It gives you a fantastic overview of the GrandStream product line, where different products are used, where to specify what products. We do a lot of peering and SIP trunk config and how to set the devices up to work with the SIP that you might bring into a property. We go into call routing and provisioning and how to provision your telephones to work on the network. And probably the best part about it, to be honest with you, is each attendee is going to receive their own IP PBX and IP phone, pictured here. So you walk away with more value in products than you do in the money that you pay for the certification. The Microcom Academy is always expanding. We're always adding to the curriculum. We're adding what you want for us to teach. So please check back often. Please go to our website at microcom.us. On the front page, down towards the bottom, you'll see Microcom Academy, where we will have all of our current certification courses listed, as well as the schedules for each class that we offer. And as I mentioned earlier, if you don't see a class or you don't see a schedule that you want to see, call your sales rep. We can usually accommodate. That is it. I thank you very much for your time. I sincerely appreciate you joining us for our webinar today. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to call us at the number posted here. You also have my personal email address as well as the generic sales email address that we'd love to hear from you and hear some feedback. With that, we'll open it up to questions if there are any.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for your presentation. That was terrific, and it does look like we've got some questions for you. Here is the first one. Are there any prerequisites required for the UBWA V2 and the UEWA?
Great question. Some of the courses that we offer do have prerequisites. Those two in particular do not. The UBWA and the UEWA, even though they are an admin level, so they are a little bit more advanced than your specialist level, there is no specific prerequisites. Somebody coming into that class should know the basics of wireless, but doesn't necessarily need to have a full knowledge of wireless networking. Yes, so no prerequisites to walk into either the UBWA or the UEWA.
Thank you. Next question is, if a student wants to enroll into the UEWA, is it fair to say after he completes the 2-day training, will he be knowledgeable enough to do a full deployment by himself?
Great question. The UEWA is specifically focused on Ubiquiti's unified platform. The unified platform was originally designed as a Wi-Fi only controller-based system. Since it was introduced, I think it was 4 years ago now, it's expanded to managing switches, managing telephones, managing the gateway. So the current version that we teach, the UEWA version 1, focuses specifically on the wireless. Somebody that sits in that class for 2 days is going to be able to walk out of there and be able to deploy from scratch a unified deployment specifically to the wireless, or specific to the wireless. The UEWA version 2 is going to add the functionality with the more recent updates to the unified platform, which will add the telephones and the switches and gateways as well. So they'll be able to deploy both.
Thank you very much. Got another question for you. Regarding the UBWA 2-day training, is the student given a test to become certified? And if so, how difficult is it to pass, and what is the student pass rate?
Excellent question. Yes, each one of the certification classes that we offer does have a test at the end so that you can prove your merits. The UBWA class specifically, as well as all of the Ubiquity classes, the tests are offered at the end of class, in class as well. The instructor that taught the class is also the test proctor and will manage that test itself. In order to pass, you'll have to maybe forgive me for the exact number. I think it is 70%. There's so many tests that I proctor that I can't remember the exact specifics of the passing test, but I'm pretty sure it's 70% that a student needs to pass in order to become UBWA certified. And that same test score would apply to any of the Ubiquity classes that they take.
Thank you very much. Got another question for you. The products the student receives, will these be the ones that they will study to install? Are there more products that we don't include that they learn to install?
Great question. Let's take, for example, the UBWA. The UBWA, especially the version 2 of UBWA that we just started teaching after Ubiquity updated their training, we spend a lot of time talking about the air fiber. The air fiber is a fantastic product that was introduced a couple years ago that gives up to 1.6 gig of throughput over a wireless link. We spend a lot of time talking about it and the difference in the technology, but we do not have a chance to demonstrate that in class. It's just the size of the product, the cost of the product, it's a little bit prohibitive to bring that to class. So that's a perfect example of where we go over the basics utilizing a nanobeam, which is very easy to transport, very easy to talk about in class, but there are some products that we talk about that we don't have the ability to demonstrate in class.
Thank you very much. Next question. Does the certification expire? And if so, will a student have to retake the same they pass to keep their certification, or do they go on to the next course to keep certified?
Great question. Yes, each certification does have an expiration date. Each certification course is a little bit different, so it's not across the board the same. For example, the CWNP is a 3-year certification. So if you certify as a CWNA, you are considered certified for the 3 years, and you have the ability, you'll receive a CWNP ID that you could give to an employer, and they could use that CWNP ID to double check your certification, see the exact expiration date. And in order to keep current, you would have to re-up that certification. Most of the certification courses that we work with, again, each one is a little bit different, so talk to your sales rep if you have specific questions. But most of the certification classes, like the CWNP, if you certify as a CWNA, which is the entry-level course, and then within 3 years you go on and add to that certification. You add maybe the CWSP or the CWDP, so that you're maybe taking 3 or 4 courses over 5, 6, 7 years. Then it automatically extends that 3-year certification, so you don't have to go back and recertify for the basic. So the only time you really ever have to recertify would be if you just took the one class and then didn't add to that certification in the next 3 years. Good questions.
Thank you very much, Ryan. That looks like all of our questions, unless something pops in here within the next couple of seconds. Thank you so much, and I want to thank everyone for attending today. If there are any additional questions, please feel free to contact our sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And of course, if anyone wishes to view any of the products or the directions mentioned here today and shown by Brian, please visit us at www.microcom.us or contact sales rep. Remember, the webinar is, this presentation is recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel. If you'd like to reference it again, you can view it on YouTube. It doesn't look like there's any more questions. Thank you again, and everyone have a great day.